Yes. Good. Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. A moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. I'd like to remind everybody to please turn your phones down so that they don't ring when meeting's going on. Also, I'd like to remind everybody, it's been pretty good lately, but remind everybody that to treat everyone with respect when you speak. Don't attack anyone personally. Okay, roll call.
Yes, sir. Eileen Dunn,
Here.
Donna Mosier,
Here.
Rick Adler,
Here.
Larry Skolsky, Brenda Owens, Barry Burgess, LeMay Nyford,
Here.
and Ed Wayner.
Here. Okay, proof of notice, John?
Yes, and as per your documents in Florida statute, notice was posted.
Okay, disposition of prior meeting minutes.
I move that we approve the meetings from the last minute of June 15th.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, art committee.
Good afternoon. The art committee met on the 18th. We had 19 applications. All 19 were approved.
Okay,
There's something else under there, which is the security camera guidelines. Patrick, just notice in on that. We don't want to really change anything because we'd have to go by a vote and everything, but basically we'll treat the security cameras the same as we treat lights, outside lighting, as far as whether or not it's pointing in someone else's direction or privacy issues. That work?
Works.
Do we
It
need to
works.
vote on that?
vote on that.
I make a motion that we treat security cameras the same as we treat floodlights and exterior lights, according to our guidelines.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Unfinished business, bulk communications contract, an update. John?
Debbie and I are probably about to say the same thing.
Can't hear you.
The previous 13 ARC requests that you guys had approved, you should probably formalize that in the minutes.
Oh, yep.
I make a motion that we approve the 19 architectural. Oh, that was last week, sorry. 13.
19 plus.
No, do we have to do both?
Yes.
Okay, so which one should we do first?
did the 19.
Can we combine them?
You just did the 19 of that.
Okay, so we need the 13 that was done in between the meetings.
Mhm.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the 13 ARC requests that were reviewed at the last architectural meeting, which was 2 weeks ago. Larry, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unopposed, so passed. Okay, now we need one for the 19.
We did that.
Did that one?
One other thing that should be mentioned is that also turned in was a resignation from Russell Rogers. He was director of the art committee. He has resigned from the architectural review committee, and that was turned in and accepted by all board members. So make a note of that.
Okay, unfinished business. Eileen?
I'd just like to thank him for his service. He's done a good job while he was the chairman of the committee.
Okay, John? Bulk communications contract?
So at our last meeting, the Blue Stream proposal was discussed, and we talked about the town hall meetings that we had. And instruction was given to refer that to the legal counsel to make sure what direction we're going, right? So there has been feedback from the legal counsel. The board has received that feedback, and the board also, just within the last couple of hours, received additional information from Spectrum. So I don't know if you want me to go over that, or if you guys want to touch on that, or.
I would like you to go over that, John, please.
Okay, so it's my belief that the majority of the board does not, based on the information that we received, does not want to proceed with the proposal from Blue Stream. The correspondence that we got from Spectrum today, Spectrum is offering Timber Oaks a fee, an amount of $469,000 to enter into a exclusive marketing agreement for 10 years. They basically want to pay you $469,000 to not enter into a bulk agreement with any other corporation.
Just to clarify that, John, it doesn't mean everyone here has to go with Spectrum. It just means that we will not push another cable or internet company or allow them to come in exclusively through us, correct?
Correct, and that just applies to the Timber Oaks communities, the single-family homes. It does not touch on any of the condo associations.
Correct, and I understand that because they're not going to pay us for the condos they already have all.
Right, and Timber Oaks wouldn't be able to stop the condos from marketing with other, or entering into agreements with other companies, so.
Eileen?
Clarification from somebody. So basically, what is the lawyer saying? That we cannot have Blue Stream in here?
The proposal that they provided, statute prevents you from entering into that agreement.
It was not recommended by the lawyer. Blue Stream was not recommended. We hadn't really discussed it. We're kind of in the middle of 50 million other things that are going on here that need to be addressed. So it had kind of fallen by the wayside. The lawyer was not recommending it. And this is a great, great deal. We do nothing and they pay us. No, this is our opinion on Spectrum.
The Spectrum issue.
It will be a done deal if we accept Spectrum. If we accept the offer from Spectrum, which in my opinion, we would be foolish not to.
Mr. President,
Yes, Rick?
I would like to have just look into exactly what the lawyer thinks marketing is, defend before we would vote on this. Sounds to me very good. We just received it in like the last 24 hours. I think we need to digest it, look into it, I'd be in favor of approving it at this meeting. Thank you.
Yes, sir. That would be your vote, Rick, but I don't know how long Spectrum is gonna hold this out for us. So
I
I,
think they say right in the letter how long, 120 days or something. I'd have to look at it again.
is that correct, John?
Okay.
Ed? Ed?
Yes, Donna?
If the lawyer is not recommending us to go with Blue Stream, should they not be checking out Spectrum's deal too?
But we're not going with Spectrum.
This isn't a deal with all Spectrum is saying is that they will pay us $469,000 if we will not consider any other cable companies. That's not saying we have to do a deal with Spectrum. That's just saying that we won't open it up to, like we have, Blue Stream coming in or Frontier coming in and putting on a proposal. We're gonna say, okay, we're gonna shut down those things from happening and take the deal from Spectrum, and they'll pay us $469,000.
Okay. Thank you.
All right?
Just to clarify one thing, does that mean including Wi-Fi or just television services? So if when T-Mobile comes into the area with 5G wireless Wi-Fi, nobody in the community will be able to. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
It would remain the same as it is right now. You pick and choose whoever you want. We as a board and as a full body of Timber Oaks will not bring anyone in.
Mr. President?
John?
If you did want to have a vote today, the motion could be something like you approve the agreement pending legal review to give you the authority if it passes the attorney's review, that you could sign it after that and wouldn't have to wait for another meeting.
Rick, did you have something?
Yes, I mean, I would like to continue to look into this, but I also would like to make sure how it affects our tax status. I would think, of course, would be reduced by, I think Florida's at 28%. We take Florida and federal tax together, which would reduce that by about 130, which still would be a good deal. But I think we need to have our professionals look into this contract the same as we had the other company and make sure of our status and exactly what Spectrum expects out of this. This is like a letter to us, it's not a contract. I'd like to have our attorney, see the contract, our attorney review the contract, and do this in our, proper normal stance of items. Sounds, when something sounds too good to be true, you really need to check it out. And I think we need to check this out. And I would vote for going forward to expiration. But I think we need a final vote later when we know everything about it. Thank you.
Mike?
I would like to make a motion that we accept the Spectrum offer on the condition that it is first reviewed by our lawyer and everything is legally to our benefit. Making a motion to do that with the addition that our lawyer must go over it and we have to be legally, it has to be illegal and still be profitable for us, something that we can do. I mean, someone's gonna offer us almost $500,000, heck yeah. We have lots of things coming up here. And we wouldn't have the Blue Stream offer, we would just discontinue it. And we can do that. There's a lot of people that are interested, but there's others that have come in. Frontier is one. T-Mobile is talking about Wi-Fi. There are other opportunities, but it would be an individual choice. It wouldn't be a choice of us backing one or the other.
A bulk contract.
I'll second for sake of
Thank you.
Scott.
Brenda.
Just a minute.
It'll be open.
Is, can I take him first? Okay, go ahead, speak. Identify yourself.
My name is, can you hear me? My name is Joe Childs. There's probably a button I have to push in. It's on. Just has to be closer to it. Joe Childs. I'm wondering who negotiated this price? Is this their first offer? And why don't we negotiate it higher? Clearly, if they make us such an offer, it's worth something, and they're not going to offer us their best price at first. So I would suggest it's probably worth more than that.
Something to consider. Eileen, did you have something?
Guess my question is this thing on?
Yes, it's on.
Okay. My question is, I've been away, but, so this is to entertain, their offer along with the Blue Stream? Or
No, it doesn't have anything to do with Blue Stream.
is Blue Stream a done deal?
Done deal.
We're no longer talking to them?
Right.
We haven't voted to completely dismiss them. At this point, we really haven't gone any further with Blue Stream.
Okay. But they may be potential. Is that,
If you take this, this is an exclusive agreement with Spectrum. It's a non-compete type deal, where if we accept this deal from Spectrum, we agree that we will not entertain any other offers from any other competing company. Bulk contract.
Bulk,
Mr.
just bulk.
Mr. President, I have a question, please.
I'm not done with my question. Give me a second.
Okay.
So other than what they're gonna pay for the door price, what would our people be paying for their service?
They're not paying anything.
They're
They're
not
not
paying it.
bound at all. You don't have to have Spectrum.
If I choose Spectrum, what would I be paying for it?
Whatever you agree to pay for. That's
We have
your
nothing to do
individual
with it.
contract.
Oh, there's no deal.
No.
Go ahead, Larry.
Okay, Brenda?
So the agreement, does the proposed agreement have a stale date or a time frame attached to it?
10 years.
Okay, thanks.
Patty?
Patricia French Weislich, 7024 13806. My question is, when we're talking about this large sum of money, is it a one-time payment or is it aggregated over 10 years?
John, you want to answer that?
So if the proposal that they sent over is a one-time payment to be paid 90 days after the execution of the agreement.
Okay, any other discussion? Call for the vote. One more question?
One more question. Okay, so we are voting to accept their 4,000 something or other dollars.
$469,000
Okay, this is a one-time
pending the attorney review.
pending the attorney's review. This is a one-time payment for us to kind of just drop our,
Exactly.
not to talk about this anymore, basically, right? And then that doesn't preclude our people in here from signing up for
No, it
whatever they
doesn't.
want to.
Exactly.
Okay, now I got it. Thank you.
Ellen?
Oh, yeah, I just want to clarify. So we're saying it's status quo. Everything's going to stay as it is. And those of us that have Spectrum can keep Spectrum, those that have Frontier can keep Frontier. And we've
Exactly.
made a promise to Spectrum saying we will not bring anybody else in, and we'll get this six-figure amount of money to promise them we'll stay with who we are and not negotiate with anybody else. So it's that simple, right?
Exactly.
Although other companies can come in on their own, Timber Oaks will not bring anyone in.
And we will not sponsor them.
Oh, well, that
And
sounds
there
like
won't be
a,
a bulk agreement.
wow, you pushed the big guys pretty good, Spectrum, you know, that they would take half a loaf than none at all, and everybody seems happy about it. So that document we got from Spectrum in the beginning is null and void then, that first one? You just stay with what we have now, right? Okay, thank you.
Dale?
Yeah, Thompson had cheated drive all my life. I've always been told if it sounds too good to be true, it is, like Rick said. I would never tell anybody to pass up an almost $500 deal to sit back and do nothing. But please make sure you check this out, because Spectrum's gotta be nuts if they just hand out that amount of money without something saying that has to do with, you may not accept a deal, but I could have a party at my house for Frontier and talk 60 people into next month changing over to Frontier because Frontier's gonna hand me $50 or whatever. And then all of a sudden, Spectrum winds up with all these people dropping Spectrum and going to Frontier after they just paid us $500. I mean, I'm sorry, it just sounds too good to be true. If it's true, I say definitely go for it, but don't just take their word
Well,
for it.
that's why we're having the lawyer review it. Okay, can we call for the vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. John?
And just one more detail to pass through, like I was saying to you earlier, this is kind of brand new for Spectrum in this environment. This proposal hasn't been, there's several tiers of supervisory positions at Spectrum. This hasn't made it all the way to the top, and it doesn't usually make it to the top until that agreement has been finalized. So there's still some approval steps that have to take place at Spectrum. But the person that I'm dealing with at Spectrum doesn't think there's gonna be any more speed bumps.
Okay. Pool temperature. Okay, we had an agreement last year to lower the pool to 84 degrees. And please let me finish. And we did that June 21st. We had a lot of feedback, so we raised it back up to 86. We haven't had any complaints since we've done that. So basically, the motion would be to leave the pool temperature at 86 and then go back to 88 in September. I'm not supposed to make.
Okay, I make a motion that we leave the temperature at 86 until September 21st, and then we move it back up to the normal 88.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed. Next. Senior community signs, LeMay.
I hope that most of you have seen the community, 55 plus community that was put up all over. My concern is that depending on which way you're driving, you can miss it. I would like to, I'll make a motion that we purchase more so that we have double signs put up so that they can be seen both ways coming and going.
Do we have a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, landscape contract. John?
So I think this was at our last meeting also, we received an increase in price proposal from the existing landscape contractor. to go from close to 50,000 to 55,000 and change. The board asked for us to put that out to bid. We did receive 2 additional quotes. The low bid being 53, just over 53, and the high bid being just over 59. So we're currently on a month-to-month basis with the existing contractor paying their increased fee and pending the completion of this bid process.
Discussion?
Ed,
Yes?
I just feel like that they only come twice a month, and to go up another $5,000 for only twice I do understand that everything has gone up in prices, but we even discussed lowering the amount of plants even put in here to try to save money, and now it's like we're right back up to where we would have been anyway. I just think this is too much money.
Okay. Matt?
The lowest bid we got was for 53, I believe. $53,000. New company we've never used before. The current company, Three Seasons, who we have been using, their price is $54,165, so not 55. The fact that they did not go up for all those years, they are used to what we're doing. They are having the same problems as anyone else is having with manpower. My concern is with talking with John, there are times when they are not able to do everything because they don't have the manpower. Yet they have gone up in price. So does that mean when they can't do something because they don't have the manpower that they reduce our price for that session? And you've tried that and they have not. Are we going to run into the same problem with the other ones? Because if we are, and I think everyone's having that problem, my thought would be to keep Three Seasons. They know what they're doing here. We have not been dissatisfied with them. Last time when we tried to go to someone else, we had nothing but problems and ended up back with them. So I think that's a big reason to stay with who we have at this point, when the lowest bid is $1,165 lower than them. My opinion.
Mr. President,
Yes, Rick?
I agree with that. I'd like to stay with Three Seasons. Thank you.
John,
Yes, hold it up.
do we, are they doing their job here? I mean, did they have a shortage of manpower?
Service could be better. The service could be better.
It's getting better.
It could be better. It could be better today. If you leave this meeting and go out there, you'll find fault.
Ed,
Yes, Donna?
I would like to make a motion that we at least check with the other company and see if we run into labor issues, if they're going to go up on the cost too. And if they say no, then maybe we should give them a shot.
Larry?
This company we've had did not increase Timber Oaks a penny for 11 years. You know, I think it's a very modest increase, and we know what we have. With other companies, you don't know what you're going to get. So I believe you should just stay with what we have.
Dale?
Again, Donna kind of said one of the things I was gonna say. If, you know what you have, you don't know what you're gonna get. If you don't get everything in writing with another company, you may be saving money, but you might have the same problem next month where only half the stuff gets done because they're shorthanded. Right now, nobody can keep workers. I would say stay with them not only because after 11 years of not raising it, they deserve it, but if you broke it down to what they do in here and you added up that increase, like let's say they were doing actual lawns, like condominiums or whatever. If you broke it up by each particular house, it wouldn't be very much that it was going up. So if you take this big community and you take the jobs that they do and you say, okay, well, they're gonna go up $20 for this and $20 for that or whatever, I don't think that what you're saying comes out to very much of an increase. So I would say, you know what you've got, stay with it.
I will say this mathematically, if you figure out what they just raised it, if they would have come to us every year and said, oh, we need to raise it $470, I don't think we'd have had a problem. And that's what it amounts to over 11 years, $470 a year, they would have raised their price. So this is not an unreasonable request.
Yes, sir.
Joe Childs again. Why don't we tell them we'd like them to meet the low bid? Right, that they came, the current landscapers gave us a 54,000 some odd bid, and the new people gave us 53,000 some odd. Why don't you tell the current people, say, why don't you say our low bid is this? If you meet it, we'll go with you. Just negotiate it down to the same bid so we get the best of both worlds. Also, in the contract, maybe have, if there have been previous issues of them not doing all the work, in the contract, just have some specific performance requirements. If they don't do what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it, there's a cost.
Thank you, Joe.
Mr. President,
Rick?
does the manager have a recommendation?
Say it again, Rick, please.
Does the manager have a recommendation?
I don't think that the price of any of the three bids are a real factor. I think even the high bid is a low dollar amount for your community. I think you could easily pay much more than $59,000 for your community if you're getting the services that you require and that's articulated in the contract, right? My suggestion would be for member or two of the board to interview the three contractors, maybe talk to some references or see the properties and then make a decision.
If we were to ask them to meet the low bid, do you think they would do it?
I've already tried some secondary negotiating with them and I haven't received any feedback in regard to that, so I don't think they would.
So then my worry would be, okay, we go with the lower bid and we don't like their service, and then we try to go back to the guy we tried to lowball? Where are we? That would be my concern.
So I could provide some more additional information on the three contractors. So Joe's been here 3 seasons, been here for 11 years. I don't think there's really been any grief with Joe the entire time he's been here. He hasn't raised his price. The high bid services several of the condos in Timber Oaks, and they appear to do a decent job. The low bid is a combination of two different contractors. One would do the chemical part of the contract, the second company would do the landscaping part of the contract. We currently use one company for some issues that Joe doesn't, that our landscaper doesn't perform, sprinkler issues and stuff like that we can't do in-house. So they're not completely foreign to us, and the high bid is not completely foreign to Timber Oaks in general.
Eileen?
This is not the first board I've been on, and I've had dealings with him when I've been on other boards, and I think he's somebody, this company is someone that our management company doesn't have any problems dealing with. And anytime we've needed him to correct anything for us, we've had trees down, he's always there for us. I'm not having, and he has not raised his prices in a long time. So to me, it's no brainer.
Okay, Larry, did you have something?
I just wanted to say that the difference between the low bid and this bid is so close. You're not talking about thousands of dollars, you're talking about a few $100s. You already know what we have. My opinion is we stay with it.
Okay. Is there a motion? You want to make a motion to that effect?
I make a motion to stay with our current
Seconded.
3-season contractor.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll stay with 3C. Okay, engineering services, update on the seawall and drainage projects, John?
I forget where we left off at the last meeting, but we have gotten information from the engineer, we have talked to the engineer. We've tried some alternative ideas with the engineer to try to solicit additional proposals and lower the cost. We just got, was it today or yesterday? We just got yesterday a proposal for the drainage part of the project that probably gets some of us excited. And, and in regard to the seawall, I think we need to, if the board so chooses, to approve to go in the alternate direction, instead with the seawall, instead of installing a new seawall from one corner to the other to try to repair the majority of the existing wall. I think we're probably looking at a motion to authorize the engineer to go in that direction for the seawall.
We met with the engineer, and to be honest with you, we think the seawall is actually in pretty good shape. The problems we have are drainage and erosion behind the seawall. Because of that, we talked to the engineer about possibly not replacing the seawall, but working on what's inside the seawall so we can save a pile of money. Drainage as well. The drainage bids we had before this were $180,000 to $200,000 to fix the drainage along here through the driveways and going out to the lake. It's not just what comes down under the awning, which is bad enough. I think we're all tired of having the door shut. But all of the drainage that comes from the parking lots and all the landscaping that goes down, it runs behind the wall, the seawall, and it runs under the seawall. It's eroding the sand and everything else that's behind that. John and our crew did some drilling to find out how empty things were underneath. There was good news and there was bad news. But to make it short, what we're looking at now is not replacing the seawall. What we're looking at is using a foam to fill in behind. It will solidify. It will hopefully raise the concrete on that side. It should. It will raise that, and that will take care of that. On this side, close to the house that's next to the parking lot, from there, almost to the gazebo, that shorter wall that's there, that will have to be shored up with a wall that's put on the outside of that, because that is the worst of it. That's where it's just washing everything out from behind. So we got a bid of $89,000, correct? To do the drainage, when our former bids were $180,000 to $200,000. There were two bids put in. An $88,000 bid was put in. That one took all the water from that side and ran it into the drain that is out in that parking lot. That drain in that parking lot, this was the B scenario. The drain in that parking lot takes all the runoff from the parking lot, from everything on that side into that one drain. I don't want to overburden that. For about $1,000 more at the $89,000 bid, we would run the drainage from here, which is a huge amount of water, from here down along the side and out. We will drill through the seawall down there and run it directly into the lake, which should alleviate all this mess that we have. Also, the fact that we don't even know where half of this runs to. I think it's I think it just runs down when it fills up, it backs all up. And that's where we have the problem. The other one will come down over here and we'll run down and do the same thing on this side. And that should alleviate all the drainage problems we have here and the problems that we have with the drainage hitting behind our seawall. Like I said, the seawall from the dock all the way over is straight. You won't see it bending or anything else, but everything behind it is going, and that's what needs to be repaired and should be repaired at a lot lower price than what we originally got, which was $600 and some thousand. So we're still looking at that, but I would like to make a motion that we accept the B portion of the drainage. Do you want to say something, John?
I have a question before you
Well, let's find out why John doesn't want to do
jump.
So the question of the shower drain. I would recommend adding on some type of corrective measure to, I'm not out there, I don't use the pool, I don't use the shower, I don't know how annoying that is to the average person, but at a minimum, that dead ends at the wall, we could connect the end of that drain, even if we don't do any more and put the carrier pipe under it and all the extensive work, we could connect the end of it to the drain that's going by it and through the seawall. For probably a minimal increase.
Yeah, I agree with that. That would be a great idea, because I know men have been complaining about it, running into the men's room and making a mess in there, so.
And secondly, I think it's a great proposal. I think the board should approve it, but I don't know if you approve it now. This contractor is probably going to be the contractor that installs the short section of new wall that you're going to need if you approve to go in that direction and to give the engineer that direction. I don't know if I would, it's a coin toss, right? I don't know if I would approve this now to solicit a better bid from him, or if you hold this over his head and think that'll get you a better bid for the short section. And
My concern is the fact that we have to, you know, this is all the time. And we still have to worry about all the drainage issues in the pool area. That's the worst of it. I mean, even with putting sandbags at those doors, you're out there and a storm hits, you're just about knee deep in water, no matter where you are. It comes down off the roof, it comes in under the awning, it pours over our spouting out there. And it just backs up till you're standing knee deep in water. That's not an exaggeration. And I would like to get that taken care of as quickly as we can.
Eileen?
I have a question. Have you had someone, because I've been out there too, and it's like a waterfall down here by the gate, and when it comes off of that roof, it goes over the gutter, and it goes over the gutter near that telephone that's out there, or where the security used to be. It comes pouring over that gutter, and I think further down it comes over, it comes over the gutter. I don't know if we're looking at putting more downspouts, or what are we gonna do about that?
So Eileen, some of the problem is those downspouts dead end into an existing drain that's not functioning properly. Those downspouts will be connected to the new drain and it should improve those problems.
What's gonna keep it from going over the?
We've got the largest gutter that you can buy.
I know, but have you had anybody come out here and actually look at that roof and look at the gutter system?
This engineer has, this is part of his plan. He took into account the water coming from the entire back half of the building. And the drainage is will function properly to remove that water. It's a matter of, does a 7-inch gutter remove that water, right? So if you can't buy a bigger gutter, and if the gutter's not big enough, it will still back up some, but it will be improved because there won't be back pressure.
I don't think it's on the back, it just goes right over.
The water has nowhere to
The
go.
gutter's
The
full.
gutters are full of water because it's backing up
That's
from
why
our
it's coming over
downspouts.
the top.
Another problem the engineer found is that they put leaf guards all along here.
I don't know.
We have no problems with leaves in the gutters. And what's happening is these leaf guards block. You know, you get dirt and sand washing down off your roof and they get blocked. So now we've got all this rain pouring down off this roof, the full roof, into those downspouts and gutters. They have nowhere to go. They can't even get into the gutters because of these,
Our guys clean them pretty
because
well.
of the drainage.
And
It's
I-
just, it won't be an issue if we get the drainage going from there.
I think you need more downspouts, but I don't know, I'm not professional on that.
And
Anno Single 14116. We seem to enter into big amounts of contracts here without guarantees. Does this one have a
Without
guarantee
what?
with it? Without there being guarantees? Are there, like the, you know, all the stuff out at the pool? Is there a guarantee with this contract that it will alleviate the problem?
All that we really have is the word of the engineer that he has spec'd the job out to satisfy the needs of the community. The proposal from the contractor is not going to have, he's bidding according to the engineer's spec, so we're basically relying on the engineer, yeah.
And that's,
Can we get a guarantee?
that's why we hired an engineer, so that we would know what we needed to do to get the job done.
Another question, I don't know if the showering before you enter a pool is required by the state or the county, but if it's not, why don't we just get rid of it, seeing as how the drain out there is a problem? Just get rid of the shower.
Done?
Ellen Baldwin, 9060, oh, I don't. 6097. My thing is, I've been out there and I've timed the shower. I get into the shower and it doesn't go off for like 20 minutes. It's just running, not full force, but it's still running quite a bit. People go in without having to touch it again and get showered. So I think I agree with, if it's not a requirement, and besides, what's that shower gonna do? I mean, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of money for the water and for the drainage. My opinion. Thank you.
Thanks. Dale?
Oh, boy, again, Dale Thompson, Conchita Drive. I have to check something out here. Did I just hear right that the gutter on the roof is like a regular gutter or a little bit bigger than a regular gutter? But it's
the biggest that we can.
okay, what's the reasoning for that? I mean, they don't make them bigger, or there's not enough room for a bigger one?
Bigger.
What?
They don't make them bigger.
Oh, so we got a wood shop, go buy a couple of pieces of aluminum, have them weld them together and make our own. I'm serious, I'm not even joking. This seems ridiculous that you can't get a piece of gutter big enough to have the water drain off. I mean, you should be able to make a piece of gutter.
Dale, where's the water going?
I don't know, that wasn't my question.
No, but I'm
What I
saying-
heard was that it was because of the gutter not being wide enough. That's what I'm trying to find out.
No, it's not because of that. It's because there's no place for the water to run. It backs up from the downspouts. It fills those gutters.
Hmm.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I just have a quick question. I think Ann brings up a very good idea about the shower could be causing a lot of problems out there. I don't go very often, but when I do, I find it inconvenient to run into that shower and run into the pool. And I don't think it serves any purpose. So perhaps, if it's not really required by the county, the city, or the state, John should perhaps look into it. And that would certainly help while you're doing these renovations.
Yes, I've lived in 355 and over developments that have pools. And I think the reason is because they don't like to have people with suntan lotion go into the pool. Somebody came up with that idea a long time ago. I think it's ludicrous because I think some people go into the shower for about 4 seconds.
Exactly.
Some people go into the shower for 4 minutes. So I don't think it's really effective, and I think it should go also.
Good. Well, sounds good.
We talked about that this week. Did you say there is none? There isn't a regulation that we have to have it?
A shower is mandatory. Enforcing use of the shower is not mandatory.
So it's mandatory we have one, but it's not mandatory we use it.
And to be honest with you, I like the shower when I get out of the hot tub just to rinse all that chlorine and stuff off me. But I don't, it's not gonna wash suntan lotion off you in 4 seconds.
Not without soap.
Yeah.
Choose more after that.
Eileen?
All right, this is
We
a
can
little less expensive than original, which is good, but I'd like to know if we have enough money in the budget to pay for this. Mr. Treasurer?
I honestly, I've been kind of looking at everything, trying to figure it out. I would like to take that on, like look at where this money can come from and how we can afford it. I don't think it's fair. Rick already has his hands full. I would be able to come up with some ideas hopefully, and then talk to Rick about financing and if it's feasible. I think it's an awful lot to put on Rick at this time.
When we received the initial proposal, I almost passed out. It was about $700,000. It's like, this can't be, we gotta do something better. Now, this new proposal that's coming is going to be a fraction of that price. And what I'm excited about is, how are we gonna pay for it? Well, Spectrum could take care of some of that for us. 470,000 is a lot of potatoes. So I think some of the things are coming into play here, which will help the community a great deal.
Well,
Okay, so
it's something that you have to think about ahead of time, and you don't wait till the last minute on that.
I know I'm not supposed to make motions, but,
I mean.
I would like someone to make a motion that we direct
But I'm talking
LeMay
about what
to
we're
check
talking
out
about right
our-
now. We have enough
But let's
money
get a
for
motion
this.
on the table. I started to make one, but was interrupted, so.
The 89,000, we have enough money for that. That's what I'm talking
We're dealing with this right now.
about. Yeah, this one, we have enough money for.
We don't know.
Oh, we don't.
That's why we want to make a motion to have LeMay check out our individual accounts, see what we can take
I think
from each thing and how we can fund this.
that's fine.
I would like to make a motion. Can I make it for myself? That, we look into financing for the drainage at this point, because we do have a good bid on that one. We're still waiting on them for the other. But anyway, make a motion that we go ahead with the drainage, and make it, no, after checking on the financing for it. If feasible, going ahead with that.
John?
Do you want to add on a not to exceed amount if we add on the shower so that we don't slow it down?
Okay, the proposal was for 89,000, right?
$88,900.
Okay, so the motion is for the drainage issue at 88.9 and getting a additional quote for the shower, because we can't turn it off. And the financing for that.
Do I have a second? Second. Larry seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Wait, don't we have?
Rick, what did you want to discuss?
So, I want to make sure that 88 figure is for the proposal P.
Yes.
The one that LeMay preferred, I prefer also B.
Yes, that is the one.
Whatever that amount is. And John and I have discussed what the financing and, we'll handle that later.
Rick, that is for the second one. The 88.9 is the set, is proposal B.
Okay. I will then call for the vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ed, just one more, just to touch on what Rick just said. I don't, for LeMay to review and maybe talk to the auditor and fine tune our financials a little bit more. That's probably not so much in regard to the drainage project as it is the seawall project. So I don't know that they're connected, really. Rick, do you agree with that?
Rick, that the two are connected?
Right, that the review of the finances are more connected to the seawall and not necessarily the drainage. You and I both agree that amount of funds for the drainage isn't an issue, right?
The amount for the drainage, I'm positive that we have it. And much more, I'm not sure of. We were analyzing a couple more accounts, John. And just so everybody knows, John is taking a well-deserved vacation So we're gonna have to hold that off till, up the middle of August.
Hold off John's vacation, is that what you're saying?
John's leaving on vacation for some time. I don't want to, he and I have gone over and zeroed in on accounts that, we're gonna analyze because we feel there's, I'll just say money being stored there, all right? That'll be available. We have to make sure we don't break any laws. I mean, we already know the basic ones. Statutory reserve, you can't touch, you know, we're saying, but there's other things that, we're looking into, okay? We're trying to find the fact and use it for these projects, all right? Put it that way.
Okay. All right, so the motion is on the table, it's been made and seconded, and we call for the vote at this time. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
I would just like to let our residents know one thing, there is no budget for any of this. It was never budgeted. I don't know if they thought the seawall would last forever. Nothing has been done to it, but there isn't a budget amount for it. That is the problem.
Okay, fines and suspension. Patty?
This year we added in a line item for the seawall, and I believe that was the first time we added it.
Okay, thank you.
For those who could not hear, Patty said this line of budget, they added in a line for the seawall, but this is the first year it has been added in. So hopefully moving forward, there will always be something there. Thank you, Pat.
Okay, fines and suspension committee. Do we have a report?
All right, are we ready to start?
I have a report.
We don't usually go over the report, we just do that. Okay. Do you want to do it, Liz? We can just do the suspension for the fines. All right.
Who's good now, fines and suspension? We held hearings on June 8th, for violations approved at the 5/18 board meeting. We enforced one. We did not enforce 3 others because the corrections were made at the time of the review. And we had another hearing on 7/12, 3 violations approved, 4 violations approved at the 6-5 meeting. 1 was enforced, 2 were not enforced. Again, corrections were made. That's it.
Thank you, Liz. Okay, you want to start with these?
One note before we start on this, there was a house that would have gone to fining today. It is the house with the 26-year-old in it. It would have gone to fining, that was removed because she has moved out of the house. The house is listed for sale. So that has been taken care of. Okay, I move to fine the owner of 10727 Hachita Drive, $50 a day for lawn and landscaping in violation of Taxes covenants up to $5,000. Larry, second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
I move to fine the owner of 10727 Hachita Drive, $50 a day for architectural control in violation of Taxes covenants up to $5,000.
Second? We have a
Second.
Eileen seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Make a motion to fine the owner of 10615 Mira Vista Drive, $50 a day for architectural control in violation of Taxes covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
I make a motion to find the owner of 8119 San Bernardino Drive, $50 a day for rubbish and outside storage in violation of Taxus covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
I move to find the owner of 8119 San Bernardino Drive, $50 a day for violation of rubbish and outside storage in violation of Taxus covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
Okay, this is the same one.
It's
Yeah,
two
okay.
different issues.
Another issue.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I make a motion to find the owner of 11207 Pepper Tree Lane, $50 a day for landscaping and violation of Taxus covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Make a motion to find the owner of 8730 Woodcrest Drive, $50 a day for a fence in violation of Taxus covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
Move to find the owner of 10937 Island Pine Drive, $50 a day for parking in violation of Taxus covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
I make a motion to find the owner of 10989 Pepper Tree Lane for rubbish and outside storage in violation of Taxus covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
I move to make a motion to find the owner of 10989 Pepper Tree Lane, $50 a day for maintenance in violation of Taxus covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
Make a motion to find the owner of 10941 Water Oak Drive, $50 a day for parking in violation of Taxus covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
Make a motion to find the owner of 10941 Water Oak Drive, $50 a day for rubbish and outside storage in violation of Taxus covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Make a motion to find the owner of 11104 Island Pine Drive, $50 a day for lawn and landscaping in violation of Taxus covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Make a motion to find the owner of 11104 Island Pine Drive, $50 a day for rubbish and outside storage in violation of Taxus covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I make a motion to find the owner of 11013 Water Oak Drive for rubbish and outside storage in violation of Taxus covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I'm done.
No, there should be.
Should be one more.
110.
1113 Water Oak.
We did that one.
Oh, you did?
For parking.
Yeah, I thought I did that one.
No.
Oh, you did the rubbish or outside storage.
Okay, then we're doing another one. I'm not done. I make a motion to find the owner of 11013 Water Oak Drive for parking violations in violation of Taxus covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I think I'm done now.
All right. Moving on. Ellen?
I have a question. I'm just curious, all these fines, when do they have to pay them? Once the house sells or once you find them?
Fines are to be paid once we start finding them, but most of these people aren't listening till they get to this point, which takes quite a while. They're supposed to pay them immediately, but if they don't pay them, that is a lien put on the house. And if the house is sold, then we get our money at that time.
So it could be that they may not pay it until it's sold.
Correct.
So they won't be refined again.
No.
Oh, okay. So, all right.
And actually, when it comes to this, I don't know how many of you are aware, I think a lot of you were here at the meetings. When it comes to this point, some of these properties that are in horrible disarray, we go in and take care of. Timber Oaks does. And then that is also added to the fines when it is put into, oh no, that's done when it's put into foreclosure, sorry. Once it goes to foreclosure, we try to take care of it so that everything doesn't look so bad.
Thank you.
Yes, sir?
Is this the time to address the fines? Because I was recently fined.
Yeah, you need
Is this the
to,
time to address that or no?
you would have to address that with the fines committee. Have you been to the fines?
No,
committee?
it comes to us. Once it comes to this, it comes to us because they're fine.
Okay,
Is this the time to address that or no?
Yeah.
Okay. I had gotten notices on the property. I had taken over, my name's Eric Martins, over on Springwood Drive. I had recently taken over the maintenance on the property from my father, Lawrence Martins. And it's taken a while to get things going, but I was getting notices for the front of the house. There were pictures. Year before that, there was a picture of the backyard, which we had taken care of. And since I took over last year, I fixed the irrigation system. I had, fertilized the lawn. The lawn's growing in nicely. I'm unsure what I was fined for. I need to know specifically what the issue is in order for me to correct it. So do you have any?
When you got the letter, it should have pictures of what was wrong with the property, and it should also state it on the front of the letter and which part of our TAXA laws were not followed. If you had questions, you should have gone to the office, or you could have gone to the fines committee and asked them what was going on. If you fix things, all you have to do is notify them, and it'll be taking off the fines, the violations list. And you're giving that chance with first notice. 2 weeks later, you get a second notice, and then eventually it goes into fine. You get a final notice and then fine.
I came into the office and I asked about it. It's like, well, as long as you're working on it, it shouldn't be a problem. You shouldn't go to fines. You shouldn't have a problem. And that's where I was at. And when I got the notice, I was like, well, I'm working on it, so it shouldn't be a problem. And then I got a notice that I'm being fined. So it's, who do I have to talk to about this fine to take care of this?
I don't know if you came into the office.
Person?
John, do you know anything about this, or Debbie? Darlene have taken care of this?
I'm fairly certain this property is scheduled to be at the next fines and suspensions meeting.
He was do you know Liz?
Oh, and then it was at the last meeting.
Will you let Liz at the microphone, please?
And it was, I believe, they're supposed to be at 6 feet. 8 feet, I'm sorry. And these were obviously much higher than the 8 feet, and you had approved the violation. And looking at the picture, and Debbie had given us the information on the rules, and it was in violation because of the height of the trees impact.
So I'm being fined specifically for the height of the trees.
Right, I believe you were.
So you're asking me to top the trees? Is that what you're asking me to do, is to top the trees?
I'm not asking, make sure they're at least 8 feet.
Were they trees or shrubs?
Was this trees or shrubs?
These are trees.
No.
Trees. This is a.
Liz, can you bring that up,
That's
please?
a cherry tree.
Have they been trimmed?
Previous property owner had cut them. And that's the way they look.
Yes, these are the trees or shrubs, whichever one you want to look at, that are a barrier along Ponderosa. And they need to be trimmed down. Yes. Did you trim them down?
No, I'm here. I have county ordinances on maintaining trees. And it says specifically I'm not supposed to pop trees. Yeah, you can look for yourself there.
They're not supposed to hang over the road though.
They're not over the road. They're not over the road. It is the height, and whether you call these pine trees or not, they form a hedge along Ponderosa. It's a privacy hedge or shield that you have there. Those need to be trimmed. This isn't a tree like an oak tree. These are pine trees. They don't look like it on here,
I
but
had two arborists come out.
and tell you they were oak and cherry.
They will not cut them. They will not do anything with them except maybe trim the branches.
I will go, we can have someone go and look at these, but from the pictures that I see, what I see are pines.
Yeah.
You may have cherry or oak in between them, but.
They are all trees.
Is that picture that I showed you, is that, that is your backyard?
And has, John, do you know if this has gone to fining yet? That's in today's? This is, here.
On the front, the picture is like this. Oh, no.
All right, then I
set a full report down.
That in our list?
yeah. Yeah.
Not this list.
Oh, it's easy for me to see.
That's one of the ones we put into finding today.
Not today.
At the last meeting of May.
Oh, the last meeting?
Yes, you approved it at the last board meeting. He went to the finding meeting. It was, you met on the 12th, correct? That's the report I just gave. No, I don't have it.
No.
Okay.
That's the one. Oh, they've got it.
Yeah, it's not on today. It would have been on the last one.
So you approved you approved to send him to finding at your June 15, 2022 meeting.
June 15th.
Yes, okay,
That's their minutes, right?
yes. So he went and 106.
Not in the stack we just got.
Let me get my.
He went to. The find.
Is the meeting over?
No.
We have a gentleman here who is, he's talking about the finding of his property. It's at 10611 Springwood Drive. It was approved for finding at the last meeting, June 15th meeting.
Yes. And the findings and inspection meeting was Tuesday, July 12th. Where the committee met.
And the committee met on July 12th? Okay, so that one was correct?
Corrected.
Okay. We will look into this and see what we find. And can we postpone this till the next meeting, come up with what we find on this?
Good.
And at that point, if necessary, the fines. If we find that it was an error.
Would you like to all the county?
If you have an extra copy, you might.
Say just go.
Yeah, I do have
It's $50, it starts today. $50. You need to.
I will say this, we also had violations that came in this week on the separations from Ponderosa and along the back of people's houses. Some of it is a total mess. I mean, you've got weeds and things growing in there just wild. But my problem is finding one or violations of one when there are so many of them. So I think this has to be looked into anyway. And Ed and I are in the office every week, and before letters go out, we go over them. So, because it's very difficult to violate, full violation on one when others aren't being violated. We're in the process, there is a committee trying to figure this out. But this is a problem, so let us look into this one, and then we will come back at our next meeting and determine where we are with it. Don?
So what you would, because you've already referred it to the fining committee and the fining committee's already made a determination, the fines are actually supposed to start being applied to the account today. We would normally apply those fines and then you would resend them if you find that's what you should do. Just for clarification, so Debbie knows what to do.
Okay, because this wasn't on today's.
So at this point, we're just gonna put a hold on it?
We're gonna look into it, we won't. Sorry, we will look into it, we won't put a hold on the fines. If we find that it should be, then we will rescind everything at the next meeting. Okay, is that all right?
Yes. Okay, Thursday Musical Group, Jean Gard.
Obviously, I'm Jean Gard, and I am a Timber Oaks resident. I live in Monterey, and I direct a choir called the Thursday Music Hall. The group has been around since 1947. I was not the director in 1947. But we, like everybody else, have been struggling because of COVID, and we have had bills continue with no concerts. And we are asking the board to allow us to have our fundraiser here in the clubhouse to get ourselves back going again. We have had two previous fundraisers here with no problems. We had one 2 years ago, right before COVID, and everything went fine. And we wrote you a check for $250, and we were very happy that after everything went well, our check was returned to us. We are a nonprofit, and the purpose of our group is to raise funds for high school seniors in Pasco County who are going on to major in music. So we graciously ask you, we would also be joined by John Tifanelli and company on that evening. He is one of our former recipients of a scholarship early on, and he's a huge supporter of Thursday Music Hall and what we do. And so he is a professional musician, and lots of people in the area love him. And he graciously, since I've taken over anyway, he graciously comes back and helps helps us to raise money on an annual basis. So we are asking permission to use the clubhouse and hope that you will let us do that.
I think the last time it was used by Thursday Music Hall, I think there was a big to-do about the fact that they were not paying rent, and then we did pay the rent.
And I think part of the problem last time was one of our members talked to a board member who talked to another board member and came back to us and said, we have permission. That's why I'm standing here today.
I know.
Is because like 24 hours before the concert, I started getting phone calls saying, this has been canceled. Two of the board members didn't know about it, and it was a huge thing. And then one of the board members went to bat for us because we had several hundred people coming, and have it canceled at the last second was pretty rough. So I'm coming to you so that we don't have problems like that, and we are happy to pay rent. But last time, evidently the board was happy after it was over, and they returned our checks. So
They have been improved.
All right, I would like to make a motion that we can discuss. I would like to make a motion that we allow Thursday Music Hall the use of the auditorium at a cost of $250. Is that the going cost now, John? How did you? What is it? $50. Well, that's a big difference.
well, we'll
Okay.
be loving that.
Okay. At a cost of $50.
Right, when a private party wants to use the facility, we ask for a deposit of $250, and the actual rate of the room is $50.
Okay, so I was told that we asked for a deposit of $250, and then the actual cost is $50, so $200 would be returned after everything is taken care of. I know anyway, I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so now to discuss.
It's open for discussion.
I remember vaguely last time when this was done, there was a big stink about security because of people coming in from outside. It was advertised and people were coming in from outside. So that seemed to be the biggest problem, was security in here with anyone being able to come in, because we wouldn't know who was who.
And can I address that? One of the board members said to me last time, oh, well, all of these young people are going to come in. And I said, have you seen the group? I'm one of the younger ones. There are not going to be
They go
young
to the
people
mic.
come off the street, see our ad, and come.
Miss Jean, can you
Jane,
I'm sorry. You want me to start over?
Sure.
Okay. Last time there was a board member that was concerned because we advertised that a bunch of young people were going to come to our concert and tear up the clubhouse. And I am 73 years old, and I'm one of the younger people in the group. No one is going to come that's some young rocker to see the Thursday Music Hall concert. We have an older audience. Our audience is 99% retired. There may be some young people here whose grandma's in the group, but we are not going to draw a crowd of people that are destructive.
And
Yellow Single 14116. If I remember correctly, the whole stink about it was our documents state that we cannot have fundraisers here. So if we cannot allow an outside activity to rent, I suggest that you, Jean, rent it under your name as a resident of Timber Oaks and not under Music Hall. Because we are not allowed under our documents to have fundraisers. So if they're actually renting and giving us money to use it, that's raising money as a fundraiser for us. So it would pretty much have to go under Jean as a resident, like if I did it for a birthday party.
Is there a problem with that, Jean?
Patty?
Tricia French Wisely, 13806-7024. I was kind of in the middle of this, and these folks were treated horribly. They had horrible things said to them, and it was really an embarrassment for all the residents in Timber Oaks. I would suggest that, as the last time, after the thing is over and everything is fine, that their check be returned to them uncashed. I would like to say, Jean said several times the check was returned. It was returned uncashed. It wasn't returned because it bounced.
We assume that. At least I did. Eileen?
You know, but there's quite a few of the ladies here.
This is one night, correct?
Yes.
One night,
And do you-
how long is it?
About 6 hours, Larry.
We can't stay awake that long. No. It, maybe 2.
I think it's a really good thing to benefit the kids in Pasco County. I mean, I'm gonna come,
Awesome.
sure that nobody tears up the auditorium. I'll bring Scott with me.
Okay, is there any other discussion before we call for the vote?
Obviously, we would work with whoever you would have us work with to
Schedule,
find
yes.
the right night to avoid all the activity.
When are you gonna have this?
That's what we just said. Okay, I'm calling for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Who do I talk to? Thank you so much.
Talk to Debbie in the office. She has a schedule for the auditorium. She'll be able to help you set up a date and then just let us know when it is and we can hopefully advertise it on our website and let people know.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Okay, corollaries, this is me. Dara came to me and asked about putting up a screen in the back so that when the corollaries do their concert, they can read the words off the screen in the back instead of having to have a screen right down in front where they have to look down. I said I would take it to the board and see if we don't know the cost or anything like that. This is just a idea to pursue, so before we find out how much it is. So I wanted to get approval to pursue that. And then when we find out how much it is, maybe we'll decide whether or not to do it or not.
I'm doing this backwards, huh? Could this be used for karaoke too, or for other things?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Right. And they're willing to contribute $500 toward it, so. Okay.
I make a motion to allow them to pursue looking to, putting a screen up.
Okay.
Purchasing a
Second.
screen.
Larry seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Just wanted to address the corollaries. Don't they all carry books with them all the time and read from there, which I think adds to the idea that they are corollaries. So they want to get rid of these books and not read from them because they're so good by the time they're doing it. So we're just adding another, well, how big is the screen?
Maybe you should discuss that with Darla.
Darla, no, I'm not.
She's the director.
I'm discussing it with you. You're the one voting for it.
We already voted for it.
Yeah.
We didn't vote to get it, Ellie. We just voted to look into cost and what it would incur.
Oh, all right, as long as you did that first. Don't be so fresh.
Okay, real estate signs, Larry.
Yeah, riding around the development, I noticed a lot of homes for sale. There was a couple of realtors that had signs up that didn't indicate deed restricted or senior development. And I've noticed a number of issues come up that people are buying homes in here that are buying it in senior villages that aren't 55. And I know realtors like to sell homes, but I think we need to require that when they put up their signs, they must say deed restricted on the signs. That's all I was notating it when I was riding around.
That's already required.
But some of them are doing it without it.
We have kind of addressed this with the violations that go out. Linda that drives around, we have her taking pictures. I have gone on site when I see them, and you know how it says if you're interested in this property, and I fill it out and tell them I'm vice president of the board and they need to be restricted. They don't read it, they just call me because I'm interested. And then I tell them about it and they kind of push me off on someone else. This is what was going on. So we are now issuing violations for any real estate sign that's put up that does not have deed restricted on it. And it's going to the owner and it's also going to the realtors. So hopefully that helps. And we also put the deed restricted signs around at all the villages and entrances. We'll be adding more of those.
Dale?
Ay. Now you just finally get on to this after I've been complaining about it for months. Now you're trying to say that, okay, so we all know the open door signs are all over with that not on it and they're still sitting there. We should just yank them out of the ground. I want to try to sell my house by owner for a couple of weeks. I just did my sign for the back and my sign for the front. Me as a resident, can I just be held responsible to make sure I tell them that it's a deed restricted 55 and older, or do I gotta make separate signs now for that?
You have to say on your sign.
It doesn't fit on my $13 sign, there's nowhere to put it.
Yes, it will. Get a small, we did it with ours when we were on Glen Eagle. And all we did was put just a regular piece of plastic or anything across the top, said deed restricted and attached it to the sign in the ground. That's all you need. Or write it with a marker on the sign you have.
And
Anna Singer 14116. I did what Lene did when I was a board member. I would call the number on the listing. I don't think you're going to collect anything from the real estate company or a prospective, person who just bought it or whatever. Is there any way we could just get some poster board and put 55 plus on it, deed restricted or whatever, and laminate them and just hang it with some string if we have to?
I wanted to just rip the signs out of the ground, but I was told I was not allowed to do that because it's private property.
Right.
So that's the problem.
Well, you can do it at midnight, I'll help you.
Don't announce it at the meeting, Ann. I told you about that. I think it also helps that we now have the deed the 55 plus community posted everywhere. That will help, but it still has to be on their signs.
It's their responsibility to put those signs on. You call them up and tell them, hey, if you don't put that on there, we're going to remove your sign.
I have to just say this real quick.
It's in our deed thing. It's in our deed.
Eileen, I witnessed Beverly Hastings when she was on the board as president. She came over to the house next to me that had the open door sign after I kept complaining about it. It had nothing on it that said deed restricted or 55 and older. The guy was warned that she was coming and he took the sign out of the ground. And by the time Beverly got there, I think that something happened anyway, but when he put the sign back out and he was told that he had to move it, he took it up out of the ground, threw it in the garage, and that was it. Had no sign out whatsoever, but still sold the house.
Ellen?
Okay, here I go again. Ellen Baldwin, 90602. I actually think each sign needs to state 55 plus, because you all keep saying deed restricted. Well, there are two different issues. And I know there's somebody that bought into Oaks Club that has 3 children under the age of, they're still school age, school age children. And, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to report them. I mean, that's on them, but maybe what needs to be well, I didn't say where they live. But put it in fines and suspensions to the owner. Take a picture, send it to them, and just don't hang on to it very long. Get out there and take pictures.
That's what we're
Well,
doing.
that is what we're doing. And the one that I said on Glen Eagle, which had the 26, which had the 26-year-old, that is eventually what we did on advice of the lawyer, that is how that was handled. But
The realtors have
it was
legal
much easier to
responsibility.
do it that way because this woman, we first sent her a letter to come down and register. Definitely was not old enough, her mother was not old enough. So then she tried to say her grandfather was moving in. We couldn't prove it, it did not happen. And at advice of the lawyer, that's when we sent the violations letter. It will be difficult to do it with someone with 3 young children if they are older 55. Because you have to prove that those 3 children are living there. You can't call the school and say, give us the records on who's there from this address, they will not. So that's a problem. I don't know how to handle it.
I mean,
If anyone has suggestions, that'd be great.
I keep hearing a lot of things, and it's just my opinion, but it's like, y'all have trouble enforcing what your rules are. On more than just this, I mean, you don't enforce them properly or not significantly fair with everybody else. One person might be picked out, and another person, neighbor, they're not picked out.
We are restricted by law. There's nothing more we can say. We are restricted by law. We push as hard as we can. There's only so many things we can do, unfortunately. Which is why people need to know it's a 55+ community when they come in here. When they pull in the villages, hopefully those signs take care of it.
Thank you.
You know,
Okay, moving on.
And if I may, one more thing. There are a lot of senior developments throughout the country that do not allow any real estate signs on any property. And I'm thinking if this continues, we should look into that also.
I personally don't see where that's such a big deal. The deed restriction signs has been going on forever and ever and ever. And we tried sending letters out to the realtors saying this is what's required. Realtors are not gonna lose a sale based on a deed restriction sign. But it seemed to straighten out. I haven't seen it. I've had a half a dozen houses on my street. Every realtor had deed restriction. So I don't think it's actually, as a matter of fact, right now, one gentleman passed away, 2 houses for me. And then the other side is a new person, and he was a former contractor. And he said he spoke to that gentleman, and he said he inherited the house, and he is gonna move in with his 2 children. And so this new neighbor wants her, he's like mowing my lawn because this is so perfect. And so I don't know what to say to him, I said, well, that is against the deed restriction. He said, well, he told me he's only 35 and he's moving in and he doesn't care what. So I don't know, I was gonna check with the office to see if they were aware that this particular resident had passed away. Because we may end up with the same problem like that 21-year-old,
And we'll deal with it.
Yeah, exactly, so.
Okay.
I mean, he stripped the whole inside of his side. Ron, I kind of knew him, but he was in the water. But he cleaned out the whole inside. He had trucks there and dump trucks and actually stripped the whole place down. But, so I don't know. I tried, yeah, this was when I wasn't feeling well, but he's complained to me 2 times, the neighbor. I said, well, I'll mention it to somebody at the office to see if they were aware of that. Because at one time, if you inherited a house from someone, you were given certain privileges. I don't know if that's in the documents anymore.
No, it's not.
No. but
Something like that would be very easy to enforce because there's no one there 55 and older. You may own the house. He may certainly own the house. He may not live in it. And so it would follow the same form that we did with the one who was 26.
Yeah, well, that's.
And that will take care of it.
Right, Bob said, he told me, he said, this is a 55, he says, I don't care, I'm moving in. So I don't know, so
According to the office.
they have that coming.
Okay. Jerry, Live Oaks.
You guys ready? Okay. Gary Beers, president of Live Oaks. I got two things. How many of the board members have been volunteering for the ice cream social? It's August 7th. They usually do, Larry. I would love to, but I won't be here. Oh, so they want to change the date? No, because you still won't have me. But we need to know so we can get a count so we can start counting on people. We need help. It's as simple as that. Yeah. And we'll take your spouses or anybody else that you know that want to volunteer. Deeply appreciated. And the other one is the open house, December 4th. That was a total nightmare. We've called caterers after caterers. We finally had one. We sat down with them, and the guy picked out a bunch of items for us, and it's almost $9,000 for 400 people, which is 400 people. And it's almost $9,000. And that's not even appetizers. They're called bites. Appetizers will even be more. Appetizers cost $5.50 more a person because there's more work involved. The prices have gone way up, way up. And I know you guys usually pay about $5,000, but I mean, I personally feel that we shouldn't have it, but that's my feeling. But like to spend that kind of money, that's your call. You guys are spending the money. Or unless you guys can get together and bake a whole bunch of food, and then that would be great. But we have a tough time getting that done.
Jimmy, if I may say something about it. Last year, I haven't gone to too many of those, but last year I went and I got a lot of feedback from a number of people saying, well, the food is not as good as it used to be.
Right.
Or this. I said, was this free for you? People are actually complaining when they get free food.
We got the same complaints and everything else. We went to Publix, and but we also had a ton of food left over because they wasn't happy with the food selection. And we don't serve a meal. All we do is give out bites. Excuse me. And like I said, I'm putting it back in you guys' hand. Unless you guys can think of something else, I personally think that we shouldn't have it anyhow. That's too much money, and but and we have people bringing doggy bags. People make a banquet of it, and they,
Jerry, is this like ham or roast beef or?
It's a selection of everything. Like he picked up a bunch of stuff. I mean, you're asking the wrong guy for the kind of food because as long as they have meatballs and roast beef, I was quite happy. But he has selections of an average menu out there, not the high price stuff, not shrimp, not lobster, not prime rib, like roast beef and stuff like that. And he picked out about 3 or 4 different items, and he has people that make them bite size. Like I said, it's just a lot of money. We just need you guys to consider it because we have to get back to him for him to hold the date. And but
is this finger foods?
It's basically bite food, finger food. Finger food. I figure my hands are too big, so I would bite my. But anyhow, that's all I'm saying. I just need some kind of guidance from you guys. It won't offend me if we cancel it.
Let's have ham and roast beef.
What is this amount? It usually comes from Toxin. What is it, $5,000 usually?
It's been around $5,000. And it's been $5,000 for a while.
Well, if we give you 7, how much you gonna put in?
8?
Oh, I mean, isn't my vote's gonna trip it?
No.
You're not gonna give anything?
No.
You're gonna give it all, okay.
But again, I have to talk to our board. But the point is, yes, there's 2 points. One is, I think the money is outrageous. And yes, we probably could contribute, but I just think it's too much money.
Have you gone to the grocery store?
Yeah? No, I don't shop. I don't eat. I mean, I say it is perfect.
Okay, what do you want to do on this? Larry?
I think we should look into places that I think we should have it. And we should limit to a certain amount of money. We get $5,000. I think that's what we should spend.
We always gave him 5,000. Let's give him a little more.
You're talking $9,000 just for catering. On top of that, you're also talking about setup, which is our guys doing all of that, cleaning up. All the work that goes into it. It's a lot. For a few hours of everybody running in here and grabbing some food. Yeah.
It's
and,
free
and I
food.
also, it's free food, Jerry, but I also know how difficult it has been for you to find anyone to cater because everyone is booked up. So it's not like, I mean, it's a great idea, let's limit it to $5,000. Where are you going for that $5,000? This is one gentleman you were able to get in touch with.
Because once you give the date, like you said about
Yes.
the real estate.
Yeah, you say, okay, we're going to do it on December 4th, and 5 of the guys you call say we're already booked. So you don't have a big choice of where to go to try and lower the cost of that meal. To me, as far as I'm concerned, cancel it. We have plenty of social things here.
Yeah. Well, you said, I have to hear it from you guys, so I can tell our people.
I make a motion that we cancel the December 4th Christmas open house.
You want to cancel?
Okay, wait a second. Now, there are people behind you, Jerry. Can we have some discussion?
Chris?
Mr. Borowski, why not do something simple like cupcakes and some wine? Just so that there's something here with some music playing in the background.
Do a potluck.
Thank you
Did
for
you
your
want to-
input.
Yeah. The only reason is, you gotta keep in mind, we can't accommodate 400 people in this room. And when she said there's music, people will get here at first and won't leave. And you have people scattered throughout this whole building. So it wouldn't be fair to the rest of the residents. They're in back rooms and stuff like that. We have to think of all the residents. So not just one who sits in this room, we have to think of residents that's throughout this whole building. You know, it's a big thing. And when you buy something, you have to offer what you offer to one, you need to be able to offer to everybody else that comes in. So you're not just buying 20 items of one and 20 items of the other.
Commissioner French Weisler, 13806, 7024. How about changing the date? Instead of December, move it closer to Thanksgiving and just call it a holiday party of the season. And it might ease up on the catering issues. And you can catch people, a lot of them, before they go north. And I think it should be continued. I think it would be an absolute shame because this event, for some people, is their only Thanksgiving, it would be, or Christmas.
Thank you.
Adam Singer, 14116. I agree with LeMay and Jerry. This is a lot of money. And even if you were to have cupcakes and wine, this includes family villages. Then you've got to have soft drinks or something for kids. Jerry's already asking for volunteers. He doesn't have enough for the ice cream social. So we're going to get volunteers to serve it if you just go get cupcakes or, even some stuff at Sam's. We're talking about 2 big projects, the seawall and the drainage problem. I think this, $5,000 should go into that pot.
Thank you, Ann. Any other discussion? Motion has been made to cancel the party. and seconded. I'll call for the vote. All in favor of canceling the, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Let's find, is there any opposed? None opposed.
Eileen,
I'm opposed.
I have it.
You gotta
We
speak.
have it.
But bring it
Okay.
here. I should-
All right, we'll do a roll call vote.
Donna Mosier,
Yeah, I'm here.
Donna,
Donna Mosier?
Eileen Dunn. Eileen Dunn,
Yep.
Rick Agler,
Rick,
Larry,
You know what? I'm sorry.
Rick, the motion was to cancel the 2022 open house in December.
I think we should cancel it.
Larry. Brenda,
Brenda,
Aye.
LeMay. And Ed.
Aye.
Motion passed.
motion passed by the bottom of the board.
Okay, is there any correspondence? I didn't see any in the packet. John?
I can't remember, it's been a long meeting. Can't recall if we had made it a, if the board agreed to move in the direction with the engineer for that, for the new approach to the seawall. I don't know that we formalized that, did we? You agreed to the.
We agreed to the drain,
You
yeah.
did, you
We're
did.
waiting for the costs on the other. Okay, no correspondence. Move.
I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye. Okay, open forum.
Brian Champagne, Capri Villa. I'm so excited about the Spectrum, because now we'll have money to redo the gym. Anyway, I wanted to get this in 3 minutes, because I wrote down a few things about the gym that I wanted to address. I know it's not on the agenda today. If you go into the gym right now, one treadmill's not working. The panels on the front of them are broken. When you hit them, they just move, and you know, somebody shoved tissue so it wouldn't break. On the second one, yeah, the two panels. Since I've been here, either the treadmill's been broken down once, some of them twice. The elliptical has been down for 2 months. The bicycle was broken for a couple months. I'm not asking really to redo the whole thing, but I do think that we need better equipment. Well, I know they're over 15 years old.
Audience, please be quiet so that we can hear the
That wasn't the
speaker.
No, all I'm saying is, is that Jesus?
Donna? Good.
No, but I realize that, you know, the
Speaker's back up.
the gym is not a priority as much as the pool was. Well, the pool should be a #1 priority. But other, like the pool tables were redone, the floor was redone, new card tables, the library floor is done. I'm just asking for an update for this antiquated equipment.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you anymore. I think that we really need to do something.
It's embarrassing.
Well, I don't think it's any less important than any other place. Everybody pays the same dues. You should be able to use the gym with new, good equipment that works. And I as one are gonna be looking into that. And I'm in physical therapy now, and I'm talking to those people about a number of machines that I use to help me with my knee and my hip, which is pretty good for people who live in this development. So in the near future, I'm gonna be coming up with certain things, and I hope you come to the meetings and listen to any updates I bring up.
Yeah, because I know of a few people that stopped coming to the gym because they were worried about using the treadmill, that it stopped on them, or something was broken. And now they're spending money in a gym, which we have this as an amenity.
Well, let me just say that we do have a proposal on the table for renewing the gym.
Okay.
And it's $48,000.
Well, yeah.
So we have kind of postponed it until after the snowbirds get back, but we don't have that money at this time to put into.
Everyone's going to help.
I mean,
Spectrum would be a
we
big
only
help.
have designated, what, like.
But I'm not, I'm not asking for that as much as, remodeling the whole thing at $48,000, that's a lot of money. But a better or newer equipment right now would be a benefit, like they're all 15 years old.
And John, do we have anyone scheduled to come in and look? Don't we have a maintenance on this?
John, I thought we had this stuff, I was asked to in June, and all this stuff was working.
So right now, Mr. Champagne knows better than I do, but right now we have one treadmill that could be replaced. We have one that should be replaced.
Do we have any money in the budget for this? Are we able to repair at least what's in there?
The one that should be replaced is beyond repair now. That needs to be, it's probably to the point where we should haul it out and not make it available to use, because it is a hazard. The one that he's talking about that stops, they can't fix it. They're proposing a new control board, but that's a substantial expense that may or may not fix the problem. That treadmill needs to be replaced. The other one, it's got the board, like he's saying, people stuff things in it to try to hold it in place because it pushes through. You can use it, it's not a safety hazard unless electrocution is a safety hazard.
What can we do? What financially can we do at this point? Can we replace one of the treadmills? Do we have enough money to do that?
You could do that.
Yeah, there's like 7,000 for another treadmill.
Okay, and can we get the other one repaired? Whatever money we have, let's do what we can. I mean, we don't have a lot.
The problem is they both need control boards. A control board may or may not fix the one. Control board's a substantial price. I think this gentleman would be tickled if we said that we're gonna put it on hold pending delivery of the Spectrum check and potentially more than a control board.
Okay.
Tickle me.
Until Spectrum and all of that is taken care of, can we at least replace one treadmill?
Sure.
Do a mic drop.
And
Yes, I think $50 a month for our assessments is pretty cheap considering what we have available to all the residents here. As you're trying to find the money to get the major improvements done, like the seawall and the drainage problem, here comes the bones. Just keep in mind that the board can issue a special assessment.
We can, and that has been part of the discussion. No one wants to do it. But the other end of that, I don't want to raise our dues to someone. Can the audience residents be quiet or leave? One or the other. We don't want to put an assessment out there if we can help it. The other thing is if we raise our monthly dues, it'll never go back down. We all know that. And this isn't talking raising it $1 or $2. for what needs to be done here. So as much as we can, we want to lower what we're doing without compromising what's being done. Nothing has been done to the seawall or the drainage here since this was built, and it needs to be done.
But a special assessment doesn't raise the monthly dues. That's
Correct,
above
but it
and beyond
also,
that, yeah.
but there are people here who I'm sure could not afford an assessment of $400 or whatever it comes out to. So we're working really hard to try and change all that. Just give us some time.
Any other, we're
Dale,
open
sit
forum?
down. Sit down, Dale.
I have a really good idea. It's just canceled the Christmas party. You usually put out like $5,000 for that, right? Merry Christmas, everybody, do the gym.
Yeah. 5,000. Yeah.
I just want to address Larry. Larry, you said that you're on a committee. I know at the last meeting, there was a committee formed of the board members mostly. I thought it should have been an ad hoc committee of residents and the board members. I don't know if that happened. But you should give a report. If you're saying you had a meeting, that would have answered this man's questions as to what you accomplished at the meeting about the gym equipment. This is the third time that's come up about the lack of repairs, and the board voted to have the committee.
There isn't a
So
committee.
there was a committee.
There was not a committee, but we did form a committee.
Yes.
That has to do with the lady who drives around for violations, to give her a job description.
Yeah.
Which she's never had.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the gym.
Well, I do recall the gym, they were saying, okay, a few of us, let's look into this. And as I say, at one time, it used to be an ad hoc committee where the manager was involved and a couple of residents and a couple of board people looking into the gym. And we did. Eileen, myself, and Sue Muniak were on the last committee for the equipment, if you remember. So it's not the first time there's been complaints about the gym equipment.
Okay, we're done. 2 hours.
You all for coming.